G'day, ZiggyD here, back with some more Borderlands, the pre-sequel. In this video, I'm going to be giving you guys a leveling guide for Nisha the Lawbringer. I'll be giving you guys a final build guide once I reach endgame level 50 and do a bit of farming there and sort of refine my build. But so far, I've been following with my planned build that I made before the game released, and it's been working absolutely perfectly. I've made only a few little changes here and there once we've actually tested some things. So this is for my build, the Pistol Berserker, essentially. Very fast pace, very high DPS style, dual wield pistol build for Nisha. And so far it's been a lot of fun, and it's leveled pretty damn well as well. So, we're going to be mostly focusing on the Fan the Hammer skill tree. Now, you have the choice of going either Riflewoman or Fan the Hammer to start off with, because this build uses both of those trees and gets the ultimate skill, you know, the capstone, in each of these skill trees. So, you could start with Riflewoman, for example. However, I determined after a bit of testing that Fan the Hammer is the best leveling tree overall, I would say. I think there might be some potential for Law and Order, but since that's not really to do with this build, I'm going to be just making you guys a guide for the Fan the Hammer style leveling. So, the reason we go Fan the Hammer is that while you're leveling, you're not really using dual wielding until you get to level 25. You need to be at least level 25 to be able to get one for each of you to be able to actually dual wield those pistols like this. So, because of that, while leveling, and because of the fact that you have pretty shitty gear while you're leveling for the most part, we're really trying to focus on getting headshots and crits as much as possible. And that's pretty standard for Borderlands, but the only time where you start to move into the hip firing side of things with this build, which this is a hip firing build, becomes later on, once you get good gear, once you get the skills to be able to support that playstyle, and that's not right at the start. So when you are able to take advantage of crits quite a bit in the early game, it lets you sort of leverage your crappy gear to be able to actually still kill things really, really quickly, especially using the Showdown Skill. So, for that reason, we don't go into Riflewoman first. This is good once you're hip firing already, which is once you start dual wielding pistols. So you see things like Snapshot, where when firing from the hips, things like Quick Shot when firing from the hip. There's a lot of hip firing action going on in there, and that stuff gets really good after we've already got the Fan the Hammer. So that's why we start with Fan the Hammer. Now, the first thing you want to go for is the Saddle Up skill just here. This gives you move speed and gun damage whenever you kill something. So you kill the weakest target first, you get a bunch of move speed and gun damage, and you can keep that going. It says a short time, which is about 10 seconds, so it's pretty easy to chain this throughout your combat, and the move speed means you get around really quickly, and the extra gun damage is pretty damn potent as well. Now, your next priority is going to be Bottled Courage. This is going to be the primary survivability for this build. This gives, by default, 50% once you get the 5 levels of your shield is restored whenever you enter Showdown. Now, I don't know guys if you've noticed with Nisha, but you enter Showdown very, very often with Nisha. The cooldown is very, very short, so there it goes, and you can see the cooldown going. It'll be up in almost no time at all. So with such a short cooldown, we can use this very often, and even on some bosses that have like big damaging attacks that absolutely destroy you, like for example Irajira, who's got the giant beam breath. Basically, you have enough time to fully regenerate your shields between each attack, so it gets really, really potent, especially when you're extending the duration and spending a lot of time in there, and maybe using some Moxie Healy Ray and stuff like that later on as well. But for the most part, this is like a fantastic extra survivability. And then when your Showdown isn't going up, so when you're not getting that instant heal, you have extra shield recharge rate and reduced recharge delay. So we're primarily relying on our shields for survival. Now, on that note, you want to get as high a capacity shield as possible, and also short recharge delay is going to be pretty nice as well. So if you can get some nice combo or blend of those, then you're going to be in pretty good shape. The recharge rate is also important, but that's tertiary after capacity and recharge delay. This character is in melee quite a bit, or is in close range pretty bit, so you can use like Shock Nova or Nova style shields if you want, but mostly you just want a high capacity shield. That's the main thing you want, because the higher your capacity shield, the more value you get from this skill, because you're recharging 50%, so you're always going to recharge 50% no matter how big the capacity is. So the bigger the capacity, the more value you get out of the skill. Now from there you can pick up Ruthless. This will increase your Showdown duration per kill, so I'm at 8 out of 5 now thanks to one of my items, but by default with 5 out of 5 it's half a second per kill, and you can get a kill in about a second or a half, so it's pretty good. You can almost infinitely extend when there's a lot of enemies, so basically it's enough to wipe out a huge pack before your Showdown actually ends. we're going to get short fuse just here. This is another kill skill. Stacking those kill skills makes us kill a lot more quickly, makes us mow down those packs. So you kill the easiest mob first, and then as you close in and you're getting close range, you're flying over the tops of enemies, shooting them, and you get up to 35% of your gun damage as bonus explosive damage, which is very, very potent right there. Then we're going to go into High Noon, which this synergizes fantastically with Ruthless just here. So this is extending our duration of our Showdown, and then High Noon gives us more damage per second that we're in Showdown. So by default, Showdown is 6 seconds, right? So on the 5th second, you have, I don't know, like 100% extra gun damage. It's like you're doubling your damage. But with the ability to extend that duration, you can possibly get your Showdown to 10 or more seconds, which means you're getting even more damage the closer you get to the end of it, and the longer you extend that Showdown. So that gets very powerful. And then finally, to cap things off, we're going to go into one for each of you. And then as you progress through, you'll be able to progress through into the wife or woman tree, kind of as you see fit from that point. I'm going snapshot, then unchained. I'll leave you guys a link to my planned build for this character, so you can follow that along beyond that point and up to this point as well. But this gives you an idea of the kind of rough order that you want to take things in. So in terms of gear, while you're leveling, you can use just about anything. You can use Jacob's pistols. You also will want to use a bit of a mixture of submachine guns and shotguns. Work fantastically, and they synergize with being pretty close in, and they work great with the Showdown skill as well. However, once you do get that one for each of your ability to dual wield pistols, which should be about the time you're fighting the final boss, so you're finishing your first playthrough, or maybe a little bit before then, so this is a perfect time to get your gear sorted. You really want to go for an auto fire pistol. Now the reason for this is that the dual wielding skill doesn't really take advantage of Jacob's weapons. Jacob's weapons fire each time you click, right? The way that this works is that essentially you click and it'll alternate between your weapons. Now I can't show it with these weapons because these are the correct weapons for the build, but I used Jacob pistols for a while, and you don't really get any extra benefit. You're not getting any extra fire rate or damage. All you are getting is essentially double clip size because you're holding 2 guns. However, if you can get those auto pistols, so I've got this pistol here, is a pretty good example of just a basic good pistol for this style of tree, then these things absolutely destroy. So I'll take it out. I'll show you guys how to kind of rock with the dual pistol action. So let's take out these guys. So we just pop our ability there, and we just sort of flick our screen towards anything that's not dead, and everything gets absolutely destroyed. And these guys are level appropriate too, level 32, so they're getting absolutely wrecked. However, in the earlier game, the way you want to do this is you want to aim for those headshots. So the way the Showdown skill works is that it aimbots you. It auto-targets enemies. Now, you can use that to just take advantage while you're leaping over the top of things. It's great. You want to stay in the air as much as possible as Nisha. You want to use that mobility as much as possible. You want to be sprinting, you want to be leaping, you want to be shooting, using the Showdown skill to auto-target for you. If you're in trouble, or if you want to dodge some missiles, you'll slam. You'll use a lot of slams just here, and then you'll aim down sights and go for those shots just there. Now, what happens if you aim down sights with Nisha while you're in your Showdown ability is it will automatically aim for crits if there is a crit available. So if you're aiming at a human opponent, it'll aim for their head. So this is what you want to do for the most part while you're leveling. So we're gonna pop our Showdown just here, and we're gonna aim for that just there, and it'll aim for a crit if a crit is available. One wasn't available just there, but you can see it's aiming for the crits just there on the Sugaroth. So that's very potent. That's what you'll be doing for the most part while leveling, is using that while aim down sights, or if you're flying over top of enemies. So let's say this is an enemy here, you're doing Showdown like that, you'll hip fire, and then when you land, you'll go down aim down sights, and you'll be trying to spam that Showdown ability as much as possible. You really do want to use that whenever it's off cooldown because it's extremely powerful. But now I just absolutely unleash on everything. You can get some crits without using aim down sights. But the way to do it is kind of position yourself so that your line of fire will go through the crit region. So let's say that the crits are on this side just here, and you start off over here. What you want to do is while you're in Showdown and while you're firing, you'll want to move so that you're in line, because your crosshairs will auto-aim to the center of the target. So what you want to do is kind of line yourself up so that the bullets will be going through the crit region of the enemy. And things like the Irajiro boss fight, you can essentially make sure that you're getting crits in the mouth by kind of hovering in the air, like jumping, and sort of aiming yourself in that region. That way you can do it without aiming down sights, because with the dual pistol wielding, if you aim down sights, you're only using one pistol, which is far weaker. So overall, this is very fast, very fun to play, very high DPS, and I think also not a particularly hard style to play either. I think Nisha is a pretty good beginner's class, especially if you're not very experienced or good at FPSs, because it's essentially, she does the aiming for you. But hopefully this helps you guys. I'll come up with a final build guide as we get later, and I'll talk more about skills and gear in detail. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below. That's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.